In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating how Relief AI can assist insurance adjusters in processing disaster claims more effectively after disastrous events like Hurricane Milton. I've already navigated over to a site that contains information about the damages done by Hurricane Milton. In this case, we're looking at tornadoes. And this is in reference to Central and East Florida. So as you can see, here's the data. If we wanted to extract this data, it would be uh, quite a manual and involved process because there's no way to just download it easily. So instead, we're just gonna copy it over and have this chatbot structure it. So here it's structuring each one of the segments, and then we're gonna use that soon. While we wait for that, I'm gonna switch over to the actual project, Relief AI. And in here, there is already template items in there. We're gonna remove those, and then we're just gonna, in its place, add this structured data that is currently being generated. Notice that this data is actually not being made up. It's basically just the same data as was in the web page. It's just being structured. So it is useful and meaningful to a claims adjuster. Then we're going to prompt it to do a specific kind of categorization. So I'm going to give it this prompt that says, put yourself in the shoes of a claims adjuster and create categories according to the severity of damage to help you assess locations. And with that prompt being in place, we can then just create categories. And we see it is paying attention to the prompt. It's separated. It generated two meaningful categories. One is moderate damage and the other is severe damage. But as you can tell, there's nothing in there, so it's not very useful. All of the items are still inside the root node. So what we're going to do is we're going to classify all the items into the moderate and severe damage by simply just pressing classify items. And we can see that most of the claims are moderate damage. We can see that injuries and deaths are 0 basically all across the board. And in severe damage, we have more severe tornadoes that actually had more casualties. So now we kind of want to more granularly categorize the cases inside moderate damage. So we're gonna change this to but base your categories on peak wind speed. And then we're just gonna create categories here. Okay, EF1 wind speeds, and then we're just gonna classify it once again. This can't take a minute. And then there's very few that are sufficiently slow enough wind speed, and then there's a lot of much faster wind speeds. And this showcases how an insurance adjuster can very quickly assess the status of multiple claims without necessarily having to go through each one himself. And eventually, at some point, we narrow down the list to, we didn't just narrow down the list into potentially more damage prone areas. We also organized it for the insurance adjuster so that he can very easily be able to reference this taxonomy as he's assessing his clients and claims. Now, let's say hypothetically for severe damage, we just click generate categories and we're not happy with one of them. There's once again talking about wind. I don't care about wind. I want to know the amount of casualties. So we're gonna do high. Yeah. So we have this as one of the categories. We're gonna update that, and we're gonna do the same on this side. So let's modify this. High casualties, low casualties. And now that we have that, we're gonna ask for it to classify the items. And then we see here under high casualties, we see that there is one dead from this tornado. And then in here, it might have misclassified this, but that's not a problem. We can just delete that and move it over to high casualties. And again, this is a Copilot. It's not intended to be completely hands-off. It's not intended to be completely hands-off, but there we go. We corrected it, and now we have a very good understanding of the damage done by Hurricane Milton across Florida, in relation to tornadoes. To recap, with Relief AI, insurance adjusters can transform unstructured data into an organized taxonomy quickly, allowing them to process claims more efficiently and support affected communities faster.